You are listening to Naked Soul Reflections, Mindful Moments for Clothes-Free Living, with your host, Hantune Hart.
Greetings, everyone. Hantune Hart here, and welcome to another episode of Naked Soul Reflection. For this episode, I'd like to talk about reconnecting with a passion or something that brings you joy, perhaps from your childhood. This weekend, I've been in a training, and on Saturday night, at the end of the training, we did a lot of dancing. So the teacher had us roll up our yoga mats and put everything aside, and the lights went out in the room, and she turned on this wonderful music with deep beats and awesome grooves that really inspire one to just move with freedom. And there was no judgment, no steps to follow, just the instruction to just move with your body. And I hadn't done that in so long. I hadn't been keeping up much with my naked soul dancing, which is, when I at home, if I would just turn on some music and dance around clothes free, I used to do that a lot. And somehow, as life somehow happens, I wound up not doing that for a while. It became rare. And I definitely could feel in my body, just whenever I would go to yoga, just kind of feeling that my body was starting to get tight in certain places. Because yoga is wonderful. Yoga is absolutely wonderful. But it's also not the same as dancing. Dance, when I'm dancing, I move my body in ways that I don't normally do when I'm on my yoga mat. And some of that is really important, particularly for my back and my hips. And I started to feel pretty tight in there, and I kept wondering, why? Well, I hadn't been dancing in a long time. So this weekend, when she turned on the music and I just let myself be free and dance, I reconnected with dance as something that is passion for me, as well as something that connects me to broader themes. For this training, a lot of what we do connects us with things that are going on in the world, whether it's environmental issues, anything in politics, social justice, family, economy, culture, anything. We don't talk about yoga as just this thing that we do on our mat for fitness. It really becomes about how are we serving the world. So as I was dancing last night, I reconnected with current events. And dance is something that does that for me. It connects me to everything that I hear about. And so actually what ended up moving through my body was just memory of all the violence that I heard about, like shootings here in the United States, all sorts of violence in other countries around the world. And then the following morning, when I did a bit of dancing at home, I thought about more issues, things around immigration and whatnot. All of these things came alive for me while I was dancing. And it was so powerful to reconnect with that, because when I was younger, in my tiny little kid years, I used to actually do a lot of praise dancing at church. So they put on some music that was inspirational or religious, and that was how I would express my devotion of things that were on my heart, was through dance. So that was something that really blessed me to get back in touch with how important dance is for me. So I want to offer that to you, to take some time and reconnect with anything from your past that brought you joy and gave you a deep sense of connection to something greater in any way, whether it was spiritual, whether it was connected to issues in the world, even if it was sort of this is just kind of my everyday thing. What lit your heart on fire? Was it playing an instrument, a musical instrument, a certain hobby, certain crafts? Something that, when you think back on it, it's like, wow, I don't know why I stopped doing that. Why did I ever stop, doing wood carvings or painting or singing? Why did I stop doing that? And this week, can you make time to reconnect with that in any way? As part of that thought, I read to you a piece by Hafiz from the book, The Gift. This poem is called The God Who Only Knows 4 Words. Every child has known God. Not the God of names, not the God of don'ts, not the God who ever does anything weird, but the God who only knows 4 words and keeps repeating them, saying, "Come dance with me. Come, dance." One of the things that I love about that piece is how it speaks to the divine. That "come dance with me" is exactly how I felt when I was dancing, that there's something so divine and so much greater that can't even be expressed through words, whether written or spoken. Just there's something greater that happens when we tap into those kinds of passionate endeavors. And I think there's something about, those things that really lit us on fire when we were kids, in those moments before we were totally overcome by all the other demands and considerations in life. There's something so simple and so raw and honest about it. So that's why it's so important for us to reconnect with things like that. Those passions, that one thing that lit our heart on fire. Because that's also part of our service to the world. Living our authentic passion is actually part of our service to the world. And I don't hear it talked about like that very often, if ever. But that thing inside of you that actually rings so true without any debate or, logic and all of these other things. There's something so raw, like plants that just shoot out of the ground. And I had that feeling when I was practicing yoga yesterday outside with a collective. I actually, for a while, didn't even use my yoga mat. I just practiced right there on the grass. And we did some poses where we were face down, full frontal on the grass. And that was so powerful for me to be directly connected to the earth. No mat in the way, no towel in the way, just literally grass tickling my nose hairs and tickling my lips. Something so raw, so organic about that. And that's exactly how I feel when I'm dancing, is I'm directly connected to something organic. So take some time this week. What is something in your life that when you connect with it, it feels so organic and you're in full expression of who you are and how it's a benefit to the world that you live into that. What is one thing you can do to come alive again and nurture that part of you that is so passionate, just effortlessly passionate? You don't even have to think about it. What would be a good idea? Well, maybe if I did this. No, it knows on its own, deep inside your soul, somewhere in there, that seed. And how can you water it this week? I hope you have a fantastic week. Be well, my friends. Namaste.